welcome to a new video interview at Chogonet Gaming News. Today we are joined by the president of Hard Rock Atlantic City, Joe Lupo. We'll be discussing something that we covered at Chogonet a couple of weeks ago when they held their town hall meetings for employees, where $10 million in bonuses for employees were announced in an event that was led also by Hard Rock Chairman Jim Allen. So welcome, Joe. Thanks for taking the time to speak with us today at Chogonet.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Great. Well, we can start with that. Maybe you can tell us the key takeaways from these town hall meetings for employees and Jim Allen's visit to Atlantic City.
Yeah, it was really great day. It will remain one of the best days of the year as we move forward. To be able to recognize our employees and give them a bonus, not only a bonus, a double bonus because of our success in 2021 was really something else. It's a differentiator in the Atlantic City market. We gave a bonus to all eligible work line or line level workforce, $600 to all of our line level workforce. And we also gave away, we had two sessions, 10,000, 5,000, 3,000, 2,000. We gave away 2 new cars. So it was how I look at it was a real investment in our people. They've worked so hard. It's been tough for everyone with COVID, right? And I don't have to understate that, right? Very difficult last couple of years, but coming out of that, Hard Rock Atlantic City has seen the largest increase in gross gaming revenue. We've seen great numbers from our hotel, and we're only one of 2 properties that saw increases in 2021 versus 2019 as you weigh that, pre-pandemic. So we can't be more proud, and obviously our employees are making the difference. They're the reason that this is happening. They're working hard, they're committed, they're compassionate, they're friendly. We're providing the best guest service. We were voted #1 employer in the state of New Jersey. That's not over just casinos, that's over every business in the state. So we've done a really lot of great things. They're highly engaged. We were the highest fundraiser for suicide prevention, for making strides for breast cancer. And that was really done because of our employees. So to be able to give back to them, have a great day. They were so enthusiastic. It'll have long-reaching effects. And in a market that has 9 different properties, in a tight, small labor market, it's a very small city here, the couple of cities that make up this area, Atlantic County, the labor's tough. And for us to be the employer of choice really means a lot for us to not only get enough people for us to facilitate our service, but better performers as well. And I think all the efforts that we're doing, thankful to Jim Allen and our owners who were here that day. And Jim also spoke about all of the growth in Hard Rock International. We're going to be opening the New York hotel around Times Square in the next about a month from now, if I'm not mistaken. And we're opening other properties. We just opened Gary, Indiana. We're going to be opening in Virginia soon. And we have other properties that we're opening not only domestically, but throughout the world. So it's exciting for our employees to see that they're working for a gaming company that's the fastest growing gaming company in the United States and worldwide. And it's just, what at heart, though, when you can give back to the employees as well, that even says more about the culture of the company and how important it is.
Well, that's quite a lot of things on the table there. I was thinking about, we at Chogonet, we covered the American Gaming Association's speech about a few weeks ago, where Bill Miller addressed one of the key issues for employers, which was the wages, the salaries. Amid a high inflation numbers in the U.S., they were reported recently at 7%, I believe it. So I wanted to ask you about how are you overcoming this situation, and which role is these bonuses are playing? Which added value are these bringing for employees amid this situation?
So, Hard Rock Atlantic City only celebrated its 3rd anniversary last year. Well, our 4th will be coming up in late June. So we're relatively new to the market. You have companies that, we're #2 in the market, a clear #2 already out of 9. And we've only been in the business 3 years, just over 3 years, versus companies that have been in the market 20 years and much longer with much bigger databases. So, the casino business is really focuses a lot around the database, and obviously you need visitors to come in. So we've taken a different approach where it's been important for us to grow. So that's why we've invested in our employees and give them bonuses and get it out there to hire more people. We've taken an approach to grow the business where you have some other gaming companies that have taken different philosophies. They've been hit differently by COVID, having properties overseas and having properties in Las Vegas, where they've been really hit harder. And so they've taken a philosophy of let's cut back and let's cut back the business. So, I think it's important for us to always grow the business, but in the coming out of COVID, and for a property that was only 2 years old coming out of COVID as we grew, it was really important for us to ensure we had enough people here working for us, that we continue to prioritize guest service. And with that, sometimes you have to look at hiring people and taking that hit, that labor cost, and ensuring that you grow enough revenue to offset that labor cost, as opposed to anticipating less revenue and cutting back labor costs. So I think it's been advantageous for us. Obviously helps when we have ownership that, again, reinvest in the employees, but we're just in a mode of growth, and it's helped with our exceeding market share here, having some of our highest market share in January of just last month, and once the February numbers come out, we'll probably see good market share as well. And that's really been important in a declining market in 2021 versus 19. The only way to grow is increase market share. So to do that, you have to take business from our competitors, and to do that, you have to provide good service, and you can't do that when you're cutting back on your labor.
Sure, very clear. Well, one other thing that Bill Miller mentioned, and we all note it as a very significant milestone for the industry, is that the nationwide commercial gaming revenue hit an all-time record of $53 billion in 2021. Then we saw that Atlantic City in-person casino was a little below pre-pandemic numbers in January. But as you mentioned, you already mentioned several factors leading to Hard Rock Atlantic City becoming the top performer in the market, and with the largest GGR increase over 2019. So maybe how would you explain, you've already mentioned some of them, but which other factors are involved to explain this success for Hard Rock Atlantic City, and how are these nationwide records affecting your decisions going forward in terms, for example, in terms of investment?
Yeah, it's truly about online and sports betting, very simply. Again, it's a shame, and we're working towards it, and we're seeing increases now coming back, especially January and February coming out of COVID. The numbers jumped up with the Omicron variant, but they've come back down very steeply just as they went up. And we had a really nice January, as did the market grew here in Atlantic City, and we're expecting to see the same for February. But sports betting, wasn't around years ago, and online gaming, while it took a while to ramp up sports betting, online sports betting also helped that out, right? Because the online sports consumer, when they get online, they have other opportunities to play, whether it's online poker, online casino. So you've just seen online casino grow throughout not only New Jersey, but in January they started online sports betting in New York, and there was a real worry that some of that New York traffic was coming to New Jersey, and you'd see a decrease in New Jersey, where actually you saw an increase in both New Jersey and then the big numbers that happened in New York, in the state of New York as well. So you're seeing new opportunities for gaming, being sports betting and online. And we've had years in this market, especially as Pennsylvania and New York were kind of, those customers would come to New Jersey. It took a while, again, for New Jersey to grow, because that trust of who you were playing with was very important. And then that transaction of a while back ago, when we first started, no credit cards were taking deposits, and that bank deposit, people, were a little conflicted with. I think because of COVID, all online processes helped that as well. We saw a big increase in online revenue during 2020 while land-based was closed, and people got very comfortable with ordering on Amazon and ordering groceries online and online shopping. And I think, just about every trend from a mobile standpoint is going up. And you're seeing online sports betting at 80 to 85% of the sports betting being done online now too. So again, then I'll just add, there's a couple different companies who are artificially inflating the numbers at a loss. So you've seen companies like DraftKings report, I think, $900 million loss for the year 2021 because they're spending so much promotional money and advertising money to try and acquire market share and acquire database. They're doing it at a loss. So some of those numbers are actually that of the company's promotional dollars. You're seeing that from Caesars and BetMGM, and you're seeing losses in some of that. While it's great gross gaming revenue numbers and it's great taxable revenue, it's just kind of artificial, and you're not going to see that continue as time goes on because obviously companies can't continue to take such a big loss, but they're driving that ability for consumers to get familiar, and in the end, that's all good for those taking wagers.
Very clear concepts. Well, I'd like to mention one more topic, which is something that most of the media made the headlines for most of us, which is the New York project for Hard Rock, the New York City project. And Hard Rock is also moving forward with its Northern New Jersey project. So Jim Allen, during town hall meetings, mentioned that there could be some risks for Hard Rock Atlantic City to be somehow impacted by the new projects, but actually the most important thing was the new synergies that this would bring. The new it would be a beneficial symbiotic relationship with the new projects coming up for Hard Rock in this region, both in New York and New Jersey. So what's your own stand regarding these potential synergies for these Hard Rock projects?
Yeah, and first I'll clarify, because I already mentioned that there's a New York hotel, only a hotel being open. I think it's on 48th, around 6th and 7th. That's opening in April, and that's a New York Hard Rock hotel, no gaming. What you're referring to hotel, is the possibility of gaming coming to New York and North Jersey. It hasn't been approved yet. Expectations are that it will be improved in both, or especially New York, probably sooner than New Jersey, since New Jersey already has gaming in South Jersey. Yeah, and our CEO is on record to say that we'll compete for one of those licenses. More than likely, that will happen, right? So that's one thing you have to understand first. There will be gaming coming in New York, or at least that's the expectation. So from our standpoint, if we can have one of those licenses, I think it'll work very collectively from our standpoint of the Northeast Corridor, the other Hard Rock cafes that we have domestically, worldwide, because we're also putting together a program where you'll be able to use rewards at all Hard Rocks, whether it's a Hard Rock hotel in the Caribbean, whether it's a Hard Rock cafe on the West Coast, or a Hard Rock casino in Atlantic City or Florida. We also believe that 65%, 70% of the gaming in South Jersey comes from Jersey, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. So there'll be a small percentage of gaming that will be affected to South Jersey. And also notably that, again, from the same example, gaming sportsbook revenue grew. And I think you'll see the numbers grow in this market as you weigh them collectively for the Northeast Corridor. But these properties down here in South Jersey are different. They're complete resort destinations, much bigger than what you'll see in New York, at a much favorable tax jurisdiction standpoint. So we can market differently and market more heavily to be able to ensure that, especially that consumer who wants to stay overnight, see a show, grab dinner, go to the spa, all in one location. That's going to be a different resort experience than you'll get, and that you currently get at Resorts World up at Aqueduct in New York right now. That's a drive-in market, and it's a much different experience. So again, I think there'll be a differentiation in experience. There's a differentiation in the tax jurisdiction, which will enable us to be able to market differently. And again, most of the, I think, higher end and just the mass from New Jersey and Philadelphia will basically be able to protect ourselves in South Jersey, and we'll hopefully see that that market grow as a whole.
Right. Well, I don't want to take too much more time from you. So there are two more topics. One is about the well, Bill Miller also mentioned as a general concept that the 2021 was the consolidation of an omni-channel presence for gaming operators, mentality that is no longer limited to a land-based concept. So and you also have recently partnered with a company that is well, Esports Entertainment Group for the first skill-based event in the US, which was postponed to March 19 and 20, I think. Mm-hmm. So and this company was recently approved as the first one able to take bets on esports in New Jersey. So the question is, what can we expect from this kind of partnership with EEG, and also what are the next steps for Hard Rock Atlantic City in terms of an omni-channel presence?
Yeah, from the omni-channel presence, again, I think we stand probably far and above the rest of the competition because of what I spoke about our program, where you'll be able to use rewards and collect that database from cafes, hotels, casinos, not only domestically, all over the world. And online gaming has really proven that. There's some. I was asked the other day about, are you hoping for more online revenue than land-based revenue? And we're not. We're hoping to, and it's shown. There's been online casino gaming in New Jersey for 6 years now, if I'm not mistaken. We've actually used that because most of those online consumers are new consumers, and they're within the state boundaries to make the bet anyway here in New Jersey. So at the farthest they are is two hours away. So those are opportunities for us to talk to new customers through different channels, offer them rewards playing online to be able to come down to this property, as well as use this property to then be able to talk to those consumers who live in North Jersey. So I think that's the best example where that omnichannel presence or application has been found very useful. And with the reinvestment that's being put in, $600 million here at Hard Rock, $400 million at Caesars, Ocean is putting in some reinvestment. We're looking to ensure that this land-based community here in South Jersey really remains stable. From the EEG standpoint of, we're excited about it. The esports is coming. It's really a test. I don't know what to expect, to be honest with you, because it's brand new. It's going to be speaking to a much younger consumer, and we know some stats and figures about that millennial. That's typically not the percentage of, very low percentage of gaming revenue at your typical land-based property. And I'm also interested to see. We don't know too much about how much somebody wants to wager versus them. How much somebody wants to wager watching somebody in competition, and it's really a new opportunity that's out there. And we're really doing it to test the model, see how it works. And it's really kind of, make that small snowball first and let it roll down the hill and see how it builds, but not take the big step, see how it goes. And we're excited about it, and we're going to look forward to it. It's going to happen over March Madness weekend. And we'll see how it goes and see if there'll be more opportunities. But I expect there will be, especially as that grows. But first you have to, put your foot in the water and test the water a little bit. And that's what our effort will be here coming up in a couple weeks.
Great. Well, just one final subject, which is you have taken over as president of the Casino Association of New Jersey in November. So it's been a little over 4 months. So maybe we can have your overall assessment of these first months in this role. What are the next challenges and maybe the focus? Where will the focus be in for this year, and the hot topics that are of concern for the association's members? Mainly the two issues that we are seeing today, which are the pilot law and the smoking ban. One of them, which is the pilot law, is in litigation. Maybe we can have an update and an overall outlook for these topics.
Sure. So, again, we're still coming out of COVID, and I'd like to say that it's over, but it's not. I received a report today where people are still are getting COVID here in South Jersey, and there's effects from the supply chains that are really affecting pricing, timing on especially a property here that buys so much, right? So we're still being affected of it. However, we see good things coming out, right, in 2022, and we're excited about it. But here in Atlantic City, I think primarily we have to work together. There's a lot of new leadership here. There's new ownership and leadership at Ocean. El Dorado has taken over Caesars last year. New leadership at their 3 properties, Caesars properties here in Atlantic City. I'm new to the CANJ. There's new leadership at the CRDA, Casino Reinvestment Development Authority, who really dictates a lot of our dollars here in the city. And so we really need to work together to establish more beautification, safer atmosphere here, more growth, more reinvestment. And I think I'm excited about that. And I'm really pushing. I'm a vocal person who gets out there, and I really want us to work together better. Again, a year ago, nobody was even going to meetings, right? Everything was on a Zoom. And today we're able to meet and talk and meet with our legislators and really try and push that envelope. So again, we're really looking at convention business coming back, which is a real key to this city. We have room availability, 15,000 rooms midweek that we can drive business to. And we have a full slate of entertainment coming back, which last year we only had entertainment half of the year. We had COVID restrictions through 5 months. So again, we have a full year that we're really excited about. Some of the hot topics and the difficulties, one right on the table, not to back away from it, is smoking. And the fact of the matter is, if there's a smoking ban in New Jersey or Atlantic City, while there's smoking permitted in Pennsylvania, we're going to lose revenue. That's a fact. The Spectrum, which is a company who does analysis for gaming companies all over the world, very highly respected, they put out a report. There's been multiple jurisdictions who have done this and shown declines. 2008, Atlantic City did not have smoking for 4 weeks and it went down 20%. There was one property in Atlantic City that opened non-smoking. It was Revel. They closed and went bankrupt. Our win per unit on slot machines is 50% higher. Our win per unit on blackjack games, roulette games is 50% higher on smoking versus non-smoking. So while it's a very tough issue, it's not an issue about money, because what will happen is, if this happens, again, there'll be a lower revenue base and then there'll be lower labor. This is really about jobs and the economic stability of Atlantic City. After 2008, we did lay off a lot of people due to the recession, and it was a painful day. There used to be 49,000 people employed in casinos in Atlantic City. Now there's 22,000 employees. We are at a 12-year low for airline traffic, a 12-year low for car traffic coming out of COVID. And this is gas prices at their all-time high. This is just the wrong time to consider this. I think this issue will continue to be brought up, but with smoking in Pennsylvania and smoking here on this property in 10% of our property. The rule is 25% of our casino floor, but in a big resort destination, we have hundreds of thousands of square feet without smoking. So it's 10% with much better air filtration systems. We had that examined by HVAC experts via code for the COVID a couple of years ago, and we have a 200% better air circulation than any other typical building, whether it's hospitals included here in the state of New Jersey. So I see this as an opportunity for people to have a choice to come work here. We had 50 open applications 2 weeks ago. We had 50 open positions 2 weeks ago. We had 100 applications in 48 hours. People want to work here under the circumstances, all well knowing that there's smoking, because it is a good environment. We do treat people well. You do earn good pay. You can pay your bills. And I look at it as the same as there's people that haven't been vaccinated. They've taken that risk and they have that choice. And I think we should offer that opportunity to those that want to make that choice. There's some anti-smoking coalitions that I know are passionate. My mother died of lung cancer, so I understand the issue. But when you're putting somebody out of work, you better be responsible for that, and you better be held accountable for that, and you better be prepared to say, who's going to pay the bills and the mortgage payments for those thousands of people, which the numbers have correlated into, not by us, but by a third-party independent and by all these past history situations. Thousands of people will lose their jobs and move out of this area because there won't be dealing jobs, and you'll have to go unbelievably to Pennsylvania where they're smoking. So some of the people that are pushing this have been in the business a long time, have high seniority, who won't get laid off, and who've had the choice to leave, but they haven't. And I think that's because it is a good work environment to work in. So it's a very delicate issue, but we're very concerned about what will happen to Atlantic City. There's properties that coming out of COVID are frankly not doing as well as they were. And I'm afraid a property will close. I'm afraid about the economic stability of South Jersey. And it's a real true risk that people have to be very careful with. Other than that, I know you mentioned the pilot. That's really doesn't have anything to do with the casinos. We weren't part of that lawsuit. That's between the county and the state. There was never been more stability than in the last 5 years when we had a pilot payment in lieu of taxes, which really it was put in place to substitute for our property taxes years ago when they kind of went wild and it was very unstable. So having the pilot in place will create more stability, set that tax level, especially coming out of COVID, while gaming revenues have declined to 2019 levels. And I really don't see that being a factor, but that's really a case between the state and the county.
Very clear. Well, there's a lot of topic to discuss, and I hope we can catch up soon to have an update on all these developments. Thank you very much for taking the time to answer each of our questions, and best of luck with all your projects in Harrock and in the association. Thank you very much.
I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Great.